Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64 is kind of a weird game if you really think about it. Sure, it has Professor Oak and all of the Pokemon you know and love. Well, most of the first 150 of them anyway. But the whole thing has this weird, non-canon feeling to it. The kid you play as is drawn in the same style as the Pokemon anime, but looks extremely generic, and the vehicle you ride in doesn't look like it came out of the series at all. Not to mention that the whole aim of the game is to try and take the best pictures of Pokemon that you can. I mean, it's an awesome idea, but it's super weird to go from an RPG where you catch monsters to an on-rails photography game. Perhaps the weirdness is just because the game was made by HAL Laboratories instead of Game Freak, or maybe that Pokemon as a franchise wasn't as firmly established as it is now. I don't know. Originally, Pokemon Snap was supposed to be for the 64DD, but because that peripheral totally bombed, it never happened. I wasn't able to find information on what was originally planned to be in the game on the 64DD, but based on its capabilities, it probably would have had more stages, possibly more Pokemon, and maybe even an internet sharing option. Unfortunately, as it is, the game isn't graphically amazing. Sure, a lot of N64 games have aged quite poorly, but Pokemon Snap looks quite a bit more bland than other Nintendo-developed games, like Ocarina of Time or even Kirby 64. It's not a deal killer, but meh graphics in a photography-based game is kinda hard not to notice. As I said before, the gameplay is all on rails, and has you taking pictures of Pokemon in real time. Some levels have unlockable routes, special abilities, and Pokemon you can only see if you use one of the items the game provides to you as you progress through it. The first item you receive is the apple, which you can chuck at Pokemon to have them pause to eat, or even hit switches with it. Oh, and you can nail them in the face.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes.
Once you've completed a level, you pick out your best photos and submit them to Oak to have them rated. If you submitted a photo of the same Pokemon earlier, the old one will be replaced if the new one is scored higher. Your goal is to try and get the highest scoring photos of every Pokemon you can. Yeah, there's nothing about this game that's particularly difficult in any way. You can easily get through it without having played it before, but it's still kind of fun to jump into from time to time. Oh, and it'd probably be even more fun if you know someone with one of those photo printing booths they used to have at Blockbuster. These things were the weirdest, most Mickey Mouse setup ever. Inside the housing was a CRT television and a full-on N64 with the most bizarre printer ever. The thing just plugged straight into the second controller port. Did Nintendo specially make those or something? Why not just make a proper machine instead of this weird Frankenstein? The world may never know the answers to those questions. If you don't know anyone with one of those machines, you can also buy the game on the Virtual Console and share your pictures via the Miiverse. Other than that, you can capture it on your PC, and that's about it. Despite Pokemon Snap having sold over 1.5 million copies, a pretty good number back then, Nintendo never made a sequel. The closest we ever got was Pokemon Dream Radar on 3DS, but that was really just a bare-bones augmented reality game. With all of the advancements consoles and handhelds have had since 1999, kinda bizarre that Nintendo hasn't resurrected this series. Instead, we got Pokemon Channel? All in all, Pokemon Snap doesn't have a ton of depth to it, as it's really just a simple photography game aimed at kids, but it's a great little game to fire up when you're in the mood to chillax. I imagine most older Pokemon fans have already played this, but for anyone that hasn't, it's definitely recommended.